first vote on the cases that we discussed in executive session, and then we'll go back to David's administrative update, if that's okay. And we'll start with the North Committee.
Thank you, Rick. The North Committee has 2 cases to recommend for closure. The first being MPN 0600324, and the committee is recommending closure with a letter 1. And the other case is MPN 1100924, and we are recommending closing with a letter 1, a Margaret Sproul letter.
Can I get a motion from someone other than North Committee in regards to those cases?
So moved, Bob.
Motion closed. Can I get a second? Great. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Abstentions and recusals, please, to Ron. And we'll go to South.
South has 1 case, MPS 1191024, with a letter 1.
Can I get someone other than South to make a motion on those? That one
So
case.
moved,
Excuse me.
Philibert.
Second.
Okay. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Abstentions and recusals, please, to Ron. And finally, we'll go to Central.
Central has 4 cases to close. MPC 1161024 to close with a letter 1. MPC 1171024 to close with a letter 1. MPC 1511124 to close with a special letter 1. And MPC 1020824 to close with a special letter 3, a Stan Burns letter.
Clearly, Central wins. Can I get a motion from someone other than Central regarding those cases?
So moved, Philibert.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstentions and recusals, please, to Ron. Great.
Done.
Let's cycle back to Mr. Herlihy, if you would, with your administrative update and any other items.
Sure. Well, I finished with the administrative update, and we can just move on to the one other business
Sure.
matter to go over. And I think what I'll do to spare you all, I'll be really brief in going over the CME audit plan. And if you have questions, feel free to ask any questions that you may have. I put a memo in the packet that laid it out. We require licensees to do CME. The board requires 30 hours. And we have 2 special subjects that were required by law. One is for an hour of activity on end-of-life palliative care, hospice issues, and the other is on controlled substance prescribing, but only if you have a DEA registration to prescribe controlled substances. The process, we require people to certify that they either have done the required activity or are entitled to one of the exceptions for not having to do it, that they are have been on a military deployment or they have a new license, whatever the case may be, and they do not have to submit the documentation of their activities with the renewal. And rather than doing that, we ask them, we require them to be subject to audit, and that's a something that we have been doing regularly since the first time we did it was in, I believe, 2014 or 2015. The the requirement to do CME is relatively new. It only started about 14 years ago. So the audit process, we identify a group of 59 individuals, and that number is based on auditing principles that are put out by a professional association of auditors. And it's based on some assumptions that we apply and the size of the group involved. And we ask them all to submit documentation of their activities. And then that's basically what my memo says in detail, that we'll ask people to do it. In the past, we've provided for, in the plan, doing a second round, and that was triggered only if we had results that were not as good as we expected going in. And we have, each time we've done an audit, we've ended up doing a second round with 93, which again is a number I got from a table in this professional auditing guidance, and went through the process all over again. This year, again, we're only proposing to do a single round, and there's some reasons for that. I'll go into it a little bit more, but it does take a lot of staff time. It's sending notices to everybody, and then receiving and reviewing the responses, following up with people who have not given us responses. It's also a big burden on the people who are selected for the audit, and it creates a lot of unhappiness for the people who are involved with it. The other reason why I think it makes sense to just do one is we've seen a strong pattern develop over the audits we've done, and that is that I think everybody does at least 30 hours. There may be a few outliers over the years that we've had where people are actually short on their 30 hours, but it's only been the special subjects where people have messed up and didn't have the required hours, or had done something they thought would be qualifying, but it wasn't, to meet the special subject requirement. And so really, to the extent that CME does make for better practice, which is the goal, people are doing the CME. It's just not necessarily meeting all the special subject requirements. One of the reasons why I proposed only doing a single round is because with the IT project, staff is already going to be really occupied with that, and we don't want to do an extra round. And also with the IT project, one of the things that we are going to be looking at doing is enabling a CME module, which will provide licensees a tool to track and upload their documentation from CME activities, so that it will be really easy for people to respond in the future. Or, you know, we don't know enough about how the system works yet, that part of it, to make a plan of how we're going to use it. But I just see this as the last time we're going to be doing an audit in the current system, and so just wanted to try and simplify it.
David,
So,
what
question.
were our numbers on the first audit, or have we not gotten them back yet?
We have not. No, this is presented to you. We'll start sending out notices in the next couple of weeks. We'll have to go through a process of we make a list of everybody who had to do it, and there's function available in Excel to assign random numbers to between 1 and 0 that are by decimals to every line, and then we sort them highest to lowest or lowest to highest, and pick the 59. We just do it at random to get give everybody a equal shot at being picked. And
I suspect this year we might have a higher compliance rate merely because the federal DEA requirements have required a number of opiate 4 hours, 8 hours, 8 hours of opiate CMEs because of changing Suboxone to no longer have an X waiver. So pretty much all physicians who have a DA have done that. So I would suspect this cycle will have a higher compliance rate, at least in the prescription of opiates.
Geez, we better make sure at least one board member gets selected.
How about we make sure none of our board members?
so
Does the DEA training count towards the opioid CME? I thought it was too specific.
So it is any documented CME for 8 hours. You could have done it 10 years ago. It still counts. But the reality is most people don't have those records for the federal one. For the state one, it's opiates and palliative care.
Rick, I'm
Or
sorry,
pain
what
control,
was
I
it?
guess.
What was it you said about changes in Suboxone?
So there used to be a requirement to have something called an X waiver to prescribe Suboxone, which would be a 24-hour course. It was like a excessive amount of training to prescribe Suboxone. And because it's so ubiquitous and there's frankly been a lot of education around, the DEA got rid of that requirement. So there's no
Okay.
longer an X waiver. And there's this new requirement to basically do 8 hours of opiate related training. And then it's included in your DEA license. And
Thank you
it's,
for clarifying.
it's
Thank you.
something that's trained in residencies. And frankly,
Right.
most of us have developed a fair degree of comfort in using it.
Thank you so much.
The pendulum seems to have swung in terms of trying to get more people treatment
Right.
as opposed to trying to make sure that everything was really rigid.
To be honest, it's kind of funny that we have a requirement for Suboxone, but not fentanyl. We can prescribe all the fentanyl we want, but Suboxone, which is, the safer of these options, require an X waiver, but such is life. Anyway.
So are there any other questions about the audit plan? And I every time we do this, I ask the board to approve the audit plan just because, it is a big imposition on licensees, and I just want to give you all the opportunity to have a role in saying how we're going to do this.
Would someone like to make a motion?
Wait, can I have a quick
regarding-
question?
Yeah, sure.
Is this go to all MD licensees or is it just
It's an audit.
Vermont? No, just, is it,
Oh,
no,
oh.
is the pool all MDs or just Vermont?
When you get a license, you are required to meet the licensing state's CME requirements unless they exempt out. We don't exempt out. I don't know specifically of any states that do have lesser requirements for individuals who are not currently practicing in the state.
Is
Want a
anyone
motion to
interested in
approve?
making a motion to approve? Great. Can I get a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion regarding this topic? All right, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Anyone abstaining or recusing? Great. Thank you, David. I should keep losing this thing. I did that. Is there any other matters, non-confidential matters to be discussing in open session at this time? No. Upcoming board meetings are written in your packet. Any other items at all for open forum? No. All right. Thank you all for your time and attention. Have a great day.
Thanks,
Thank
everybody.
you.
Bye
Thank
now.
you. Bye, everybody.
Goodbye.